Stand by to hit your music. Yeah. And you can hit it. And Michael.
The Bradley County Sheriff booked into his own jail. The charges brought against Eric Watson and why. Plus, a small plane makes an emergency landing in a field off Highway 58 in Hamilton County. We'll tell you what happened. And a homicide investigation underway this noon hour during the morning rush hour on Hickson Pike. We'll tell you why Chattanooga police don't think there's a threat to the community.
And today will be the hottest day we've seen so far this year. I'm tracking those temperatures details all coming up in your full forecast.
25. Stand by to Channel
9 Midday.
Great.
Stand by,
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Greg Funderburg. We begin with breaking news. The Bradley County Sheriff's Office confirms Sheriff Eric Watson was booked into his own jail this morning. News Channel 9's Kayla Strayer joins us now live from the jail. So, Kayla, what have you learned this afternoon?
1 minute out. Greg, we have a lot to update you on. Right behind me, that is where the Bradley County Sheriff Eric Watson was booked this morning. This is the same jail that he is still currently, as of now, in charge of. This is what we know so far. He posted a $30,000 bail this morning. He is facing 6 counts of Class E felonies for altering, falsifying, or forging title or plate assignments. The DA in charge is Jimmy Dunn. He tells me that he alleges Watson held or used 6 different motor vehicles, knowing the titles were altered, forged, or falsified. A Bradley County grand jury heard evidence this week from the result of a joint investigation between the TBI and the Tennessee Department of Revenue. As we have reported, that investigation started in September of last year. Now, regardless of these charges, the sheriff's spokesperson we talked to says Watson, again, is back on the job today. He is not placed on any kind of leave as of yet. Senior Judge Don Ash from Rutherford County. He is the trial judge in this case. Now, no date has been set for initial appearance or arraignment of Eric Watson. Of course, we'll update you on that as soon as we get that information. We have team coverage here right now in Bradley County. We'll be bringing you the latest updates throughout the day. After this, I'm headed to try to speak to Eric Watson's attorney to see if there's any comment on that side. But for now, reporting live in Bradley County, Kayla Strayer, News Channel 9.
All right, Kayla, thanks so much. A small plane loses its engine over Hamilton County and has to make an emergency landing in a field. Allison Levine is live on the ground to tell us what happened there. Allison.
Greg, I'm out here on a farm on Ooltewah, Georgetown Road, and this area is where this plane went down just after 10 a.m. this morning. The flight instructor, it was actually a flying lesson, said he's been through this situation before, and we can't see the plane from where we are, but let's take a look at it from our News Channel 9 sky cam, and it gives us a bird's eye view of where this plane crash landed, or excuse me, emergency landed. As I said before, this was actually a flight instructor who was flying this plane, and somebody was inside taking a private lesson. He said that that person was on their 5th or 6th lesson. It was certainly quite the experience for that individual, but the flight instructor knew exactly what to do when that single engine plane went out, and he was able to safely land the plane in this farmer's field out here. I did speak with the farmer earlier who said that he is glad that he hadn't cut his hay in that field in a while. It provided a bit of a softer landing, but the flight instructor did say that the next steps for this plane, as you can see it is fairly unscratched, are for the FAA to come out and take a look at it and see what happened that led to this engine failure. The insurance company will also be out next to take a look at that and get that diagnosed so that this sort of thing doesn't happen again in the future for this flying school. We will keep you updated on all those details on air and online. For now, reporting live in Hamilton County, Allison Levine, News Channel 9.
Allison, thanks so much. A Hickson Pike gas station becomes the scene of a homicide investigation. News Channel 9's Catherine Mersham joins us now with who discovered the victim. Catherine.
Greg, police were patrolling the Hickson area when they saw the shooting victim in the parking lot of the BP near Highway 153. A CPD spokesperson says first responders tried to save his life, but he was pronounced dead on the scene.
Parking lot packed with the PD. Chattanooga police and crime scene investigators swarmed this BP gas station early this morning after officers found a man's body.
We are still investigating exactly what happened prior to the patrol officers arriving on scene.
At this time, it does not appear that it is a drive-by shooting.
Sergeant Victor Miller told us officers are trying to notify the shooting victim's family and won't be releasing his name yet. As for the shooter,
We do have a person of interest that we're working on leads. If you have any information, we're
There's
asking
something
for
about
your
this
call to
Miller
the Chattanooga
guy
Police
that bugs
Homicide
me. I
Tip
don't know what
Line.
it is.
police interviewed Circle K
He doesn't seem like
employees.
he's very happy
However,
to be
Miller
doing what
says
he's doing.
CPD does not believe any of them were involved in the shooting.
No, I mean just in
The
general.
manager
as a PIO
closed the
type
gas
thing.
station this morning. Still,
kind of
many customers
blah.
pulled in, not knowing what had happened. But the shooting didn't shock Brian Perchalski.
Crime has really gone up in this area in the past couple of years.
Perchalski not only lives close to this BP, he also lives near Norcross Road, where CPD found a woman's body in the
10
trunk of a
seconds
car
left.
back in April.
Crime in itself is just expanding.
Stand by the mic, Catherine.
The morality around
I'll
it
keep
is
sticking to
pretty
me.
sickening to me.
And wrong, Catherine.
I spoke with people who work in businesses located behind the gas
We'll be back
station
after break
too.
on one.
They also told me they weren't surprised this morning because they believe crime has picked up in the Hickson area. Greg?
All right, Captain, thanks so much. And police do not believe the shooting was gang-related. A Bradley County jury finds a man guilty of first-degree murder. A judge sentenced Sean Davenport to life in prison for the murder of Michael Swafford. Police say Davenport shot and killed Swafford back in April of 2015. And crews are working to find out what sparked a massive house fire in Birchwood. News Channel 9's Brandon Evans explains why the material that makes the home so unique is what caused firefighters the biggest problem.
Flames erupted this morning at this two-story log cabin home in Birchwood as firefighters rushed to the scene to try to get the blaze under control.
This package runs 56 seconds. Stand down.
Installing up in flames.
The Highway 58 Volunteer Fire Department's Assistant Chief, Danny Wright, says this kind of home makes it even tougher on firefighters.
Took a while to get the fire knocked down. It's a log home and they're extremely hard to get put out.
Not only is most of the home made of wood, but he says the way they're tightly sealed turns it into a giant hot box of flame. The home was a total loss, but there is good news.
The family just found out a little while ago out of town, but they're on the way back.
Still, it was a rescue operation.
We had 4 dogs in the backyard. They were all safe.
After crews pulled the wet pups covered in ash and soot, the Humane Society took them in to look after until the returns. I'm Brandon Evans, News Channel 9.
We've also learned a Hamilton County Fire Task Force is now at the house working to determine the cause of that fire. And Chattanooga police arrest a man they say assaulted his pregnant ex-girlfriend over a Facebook status. According to the arrest affidavit, Kevin Knox was angry his ex changed her status to single. Now, police say Knox threw the pregnant woman on a couch and began hitting her. Officers tell us Knox threatened to kill her when she tried to call police. He faces domestic assault charges. The TBI is investigating after an inmate in Polk County shoots himself. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation says 48-year-old Freddie Ruth was working with litter cleanup crews near the East Parksville boat ramp on the Ocoee River yesterday. An initial report says at some point after the job, Ruth was able to get a gun, then shoot himself. He was flown to a nearby hospital by helicopter. The TBI is investigating how Ruth got a hold of that gun. And Hamilton County's new superintendent meets with the school board for the first time. The topic, the 5 low-performing schools. Most board members agree they do not want the state stepping in to take control. We also spoke to State Representative Joanne Favor. She told us there are more options to partial or full state control of the schools. She says saying no to the state's plans is a possibility.
Yes, it is an option. The law, the current law allows the commission to approve any proposal that this body submits to her.
And Michael.
Commissioner Candace McQueen has given the county an extra month to decide on partial or full state control of the 5 low-performing schools. The school board also approved the owner-operator bus contracts. At the meeting, Representative Favors told us she plans to reintroduce her seatbelt bill in January with the hope it will be passed. And also this afternoon, O.J. Simpson will soon be a free man. Yesterday, a Nevada parole board unanimously granted the former NFL star parole. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez shows us what's next for Simpson.
O.J. Simpson
Spicer will
will
be after
in a
this
separate
8:28.
part of this
We'll
Nevada
have
prison
8:28
away from the
practice
general
Spicer.
population.
It's coded.
A precautionary measure for protection now that the NFL Hall of Famer will soon be a free man.
I do
Scarlet,
vote to
wait.
grant parole.
Thank you.
How do you say it
That
again?
unanimous decision made by the parole
This runs
board
148 standard out.
to Simpson's
Scaramouche.
33-year sentence for a 2007 robbery in this Las Vegas casino.
So you believe that the property was yours?
It's been ruled legally by the state of California
He's
that
one
it was
is
my
dead. We'll
property.
go from
They've given
Spicer
it to me.
resigns to
The
Aaron's
70-year-old
weather
could be
teams.
released as soon as
He's one is
October
dead.
1st, telling the parole board he plans to move back to Florida, where he lived for about a decade leading up to his arrest.
I think he's going to come to the Tampa area. A lot of his friends are in Tampa. I'm in Tampa. His kids are here.
But friend Tom Scotto disputed that on Good Morning America, saying Simpson plans to live elsewhere in Florida, refusing to share exactly what Simpson's plans are beyond this.
We're going to do a road trip. He wants to visit all the people that died while he's in prison, pay his respects. He wants to visit his daughter's grave. He wants to visit Nicole's grave.
The 1994 murder of Simpson's ex-wife Nicole Brown and her friend Ron Goldman, for which Simpson was infamously acquitted, was not factored into the parole decision.
I was expecting him to be paroled, yes. We'll just do what we've been doing and continue to trudge forward and make the best of a bad situation.
The Goldman and Brown families are still trying to collect a $43
Mike.
million settlement they were granted in a civil suit. They have no access to the NFL pension Simpson still collects each month because it is federally protected. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Reno, Nevada.
If Simpson violates parole, he will be sent back to Nevada. And breaking news this afternoon, White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer has resigned. This is according to the New York Times. Anthony Scaramucci, a longtime Trump surrogate, appears to be President Donald Trump's pick for the new White House communications director. Now that's according to multiple sources this afternoon. The Washington Post believes Scaramucci will be offered the position later today.
A steamy end to the work week. I'll detail those temperatures today and how long it'll stay this hot, all coming up after the break.
Stand by for the break and fade it out.